What is
marriage?
marriage?
Okay.
Okay. Somehow I've been married for a little while. I think next year February is going to make it 11 years
Wow.
that I've been married. And if you see myself and my wife, we are like cat and dog everywhere. We're friends. So when you say marriage, marriage is majorly, to me, I feel is for companionship. That's like the foundation. Marriage. Let me take reference from the Bible, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Bible says it is not good for a man
To be
to
alone.
be alone, right? That is God speaking now. He said, I will make him an helpmate.
Yeah.
So the woman was made. Now, what this means is that the woman is supposed to be a companion for a man. So when we come into general ideology of marriage, why are we getting married? Okay, I love you. I want to settle down with you. I want to be in your space. It means that we have both agreed, right,
Yeah.
to be companions to each other. And the agreement is key because yet in the Bible, Amos 3:3 says, can two work together except they
Unless,
agree?
yeah.
So there must be an agreement, and the primary purpose is for companionship. Now, we might want to go into the areas of, okay, we are having childbearing, now children are coming in, and all of that. Any children that come, just give them a matter of 25 years, they will go. It still boils down to the husband and the wife. So the
Mm.
primary thing is companionship,
Mm.
and it has to be both sides that is giving. So it's
Okay.
not just the wife giving, or it's not just the man giving, but both
Both,
parties
yeah.
have to be there. So that companionship is the core of marriage, for two people to be together as companions, helping each other out, being there for each other.
Have times to waste. Seriously. Let's go straight to what does domestic violence mean? Let me start from Mr. Shego. What can we explain by domestic violence?
Violence. Anytime you use the word violence, you're talking about force. Once you use the word force, it means that there is no mutual consent from both parties, right? So when you now say domestic violence, domestic brings the use of force
Mm.
without the other party's consent into a domestic space. In this case, now you are looking at a marriage or a home, right? So domestic violence is when either of the party, it's not just the man against the woman or the woman against the man, now where either of the parties now starts to use force against the other person. Now, when you talk about domestic violence, it means a party in the marriage is being abused. And when a party is being abused, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical abuse. It can be emotional, it can be verbal. Some people are not beating their wives, but they've ridiculed the woman with their mouth. In fact, to the extent where the other party is feeling, am I somebody? So it's easy for us to talk about domestic violence where a man is beating a woman and nobody is saying, what did the woman say before the man beat the woman? This does not justify that it is right. And I'll say categorically, under whatever circumstance or condition, it is wrong. I believe nobody should experience violence in the home, whether it's physical, emotional, or verbal. Now, women might not be able to carry omorogun and hit you on the head, but you see their mouth in most cases, not all cases, in most cases, they can trash a man and the person can decide to go and commit suicide. So, under whatever circumstance, domestic violence should be avoided. It should not happen. It is a wrong in our society, in our community. But I like the fact that we are bringing it to limelight because a lot of people are going through a lot. People are going through verbal abuse. People are going through physical abuse. And they say, you are dating someone, the person slap you once, he slap you twice, tell you, I'm sorry, I love you. It's just a matter of time. The love will trek away. It will remain the reality. So please, I will say domestic violence is not something we support. It should be avoided under whatever circumstances. Nobody should be abused in the marriage.
Thank
That's
you
my
very much, sir.
submission.
I would like you to expatiate it very well. Why do you think the victim stays with the abuser?
Hmm.
Why do you think?
The victim stays with the abuser? I would have loved if we had a form of statistics to prove that. You know, generally I agree, but for us to know the depth of this problem. Now, he mentioned, doctor mentioned something that we normally see signs before going into marriage. You see, the same thing that drives someone from ignoring all negative signs or red flags before going into marriage, the same thing keeps them there. One key thing is you can look at societal stigma. You feel, if I speak out, what happens to me? Oh, what are people going to say about me? The stigma of what will people say. So you've been in a marriage for 4 years. Even if the first 4 years there was no abuse, the fifth year, the sixth year, the abuse has started. You are thinking, because of my children. So you see, anyone that is abused will always have a reason to stay there. And go and find out, like 70% of the time, when people are advising them to possibly separate from this marriage for a while, we're not talking about divorce, move out of this marriage for the sake of your soul, for the sake of your malo kusibe, they will still stay. Stigma is one of the reasons, right? Then two, recently a lot of people are going into transactional marriages. So I'm coming from a background that is not so good. I want to be the one to take my family out of poverty. So you see a rich man with bad character, terrible character, somebody that you can't suggest anything to, somebody that does not fear anybody. And I always say, if you have a spouse or someone you are dating that does not have anybody that is afraid of, that you will say, my wife knows. There are some people, I have a pastor, Pastor Tony. If she says I will call Pastor Tony, I'm telling you, I will begin to behave well, properly. So when you see a rich man that is void of good character, but because he has money and is meeting some needs, some will choose to be the sacrificial lamb, thinking I want to take my family out of poverty. The failure in the society we have starts from the failure from the house. Have you looked at the percentage of people that are selling their bodies on the street? Have you looked at the percentage of men that are doing, or young boys that are doing illegal activities? Now, if you combine these two people together and they start to bet another generation, what generation do you think we're breeding? So when people go into transactional marriages, I'm into this thing because of this, right? So to live there becomes a problem. If I live there, this person is paying your bills. Do you understand? And people are in marriages where they don't find expression. You want to do this, but because your man just said, me, if I go just sit in the house, you are an housewife. So your years are fast wasting away. Your potential are flushing down the drain. The person becomes frustrated. You cannot leave the house. You cannot see anything because of what you are getting from it. So go and find out, when people stick to or stay in an abusive marriage, they feel or they think they have something to lose. It can be a relationship. It can be livelihood. Maybe source of money, the money I'm getting from there. It might be stigma from the society. What will people say about me if I live here? People, and you know the way women think, women have a way of creating analogies for the next 10 years. A man is thinking today, okay, what bill is in front of me? What do I want to settle now? If you tell a woman that, Wari, for the next 15 years, they'll be telling you, they will always make references because they don't easily forget things. So why do people stick? Well, societal stigma, the fear of what they are going to lose, the fear of what people are going to say, the fear of being tagged is part of it. So those are the major reasons why I feel people stick to a marriage, even or to a violent spouse. I'm blessed to marry into one of the best families you can ever marry to, and today is my mother-in-law's birthday. So you can it's like a starting point. But you see, this man said a lot of deep things. I love you is 2 years. That's the Emi, I love you, Gunju is 2 years. The remaining is commitment. You work it out. People change. So the spouse that you are married to can change. So it's even possible you will not sense anything. I know a close case like that. You will not sense anything from the beginning, right? But along the line, something trips. Maybe money comes in, right? Maybe there's a case of infidelity. Somebody that has been behaving well before caught you cheating. That relationship will not be the same. And everybody is just hanging there. Nobody is forgiving the other party. Everybody is trying to manage it. So you might not be able to decipher the whole lot of these things from the beginning, right? But if the case is where along the journey something changes, right? Then you know that something has changed. It's easier for you to say this person is not like this. The Segun I married to was never violent. What is he going through? What is his emotional stage? Do we need to see a counselor? Do we need to go for therapy? What has triggered this thing in him? Do you understand? It's safer that way and it's easier to manage that way than you come and you see a home that has all the fingerprints of this thing there, right? That kind of person, if the person is violent, they will argue and tell you, that's the character. But in a case where the person was not like that and the person suddenly turns violent, you can then start to ask questions and you can start to seek for help. That's when.
Okay, do you think the abuser shows any warning signs before going into violence? Do you think, okay, do you think they show any warning signs before going into violence?
Yeah, like doctor said earlier, see, there will always be flags, but most cases people choose to ignore the flags. Yes, and when you choose to ignore the flags, there are consequences. Not until the problem has now started. It might not be the first year, second year, third year, maybe the fifth year. You now be hearing things like, what they suffer me by now.
No, they're
real. How come you are beginning to see what you did not see before? And it's because love has trekked away. As I always tell you, love. If you're so the abusers might not show signs, right? They might not show signs. Or even the abuser knows that they have the tendency to misbehave and they purposely cover that side of them up because of what they want. You understand? I know someone very close to whom this person felt like angel before getting married. I mean this guy. When I mean angel now, I mean angel. In fact, he bought a car for the girl before the wedding date. Okay, I know you'll be going to, you need runarounds to get things and all that. Oh yeah, take this car. And the first year, second year, third year of marriage, everything was going well. After 2 kids, everything still felt like it was going well. Until it got to some point, you see the wife driving and crying. What happened? And crying. Why are you crying? It's difficult to explain. Now, in their own case, the abuse was not physical, but there's a way you can make somebody feel hopeless in this life. Words hurt. If they flog you, you will feel the pain, and you forget about it. Or you feel the pain, you cry, and it goes. But when some words are said, I'm telling you, words are very powerful. And you see these words, right? When words translate into argument will translate into physical beating. So the root cause of this violence, go and check it. Even when you see two people that want to fight on the street, nobody just looks without saying anything. No argument, just speaks maybe a bottle and breaks on somebody's head. That's pure madness. That one is not. That's madness. But there's already madness. And then it keeps going. It keeps going. The same way, you will always see there is a red flag. Right? Now, it starts to escalate. So it's not like there is beating in day one. It starts to escalate. So the very best thing is watch out for both sides now, because there are women that beat their husband.
We are coming back to that.
So watch out, like be very sensitive to these subtle signs. You understand what I'm saying? You are with somebody that is, and the person says, in a stern voice, and you know that this person is not joking. Or you see someone like your spouse, this person, you call him your friend, or you call her your friend, and you're both joking and you're playing around, and the person just thinks, what's the meaning of that? I can't take that. There will always be signs. So, and these things too, you need help of the Holy Spirit too, for those that are Christians, to help you identify them, to help you to see them. Because at some point, these characters are seed. They've not germinated. They just need the right environment. You understand? So like somebody that when doctor said he raised hand but he did not slap you, he's a seed. One moment you say I do create the right environment. Tell a boy you're sleeping in your parents' house, but when the environment now becomes ripe and the seed has germinated, then you begin to see this character. So there will always be red flags. We should just learn more not to neglect them. And let me say this, one of the things that you see, you can fight people with everything they have. I can disagree with you, but one thing I cannot fight is your character. Right? So I might say, I don't like the way this person smiles, I don't like the way this person does. Maybe the person can change, but when it comes to the issue of character, and character is something that is not formed at once. From the time the child is born, the way they see the parent, the environment they grew up, the person that grew up in Banana Island and the person that grew up in they cannot behave the same, because their worldview is different, their perspective to life is different. See, if you travel down South Nigeria, the moment you are crossing into Benin, you feel that everybody is agitated and be asking, everybody come on, because that is who they are. So you can't fault people's character. So when you want to pick someone to marry and you want to sense for domestic violence, watch their character, which is a result of their environment, who brought them up, which school they've gone to, who are their friends, who is influencing them, what are they doing. It's a whole lot of things that have formed that character. So if you see anything there that looks like you cannot cope with, avoid it.
JP and my fellow Mr. Shegun, can you give advices to women under domestic violence with children, and women that are like they are under domestic abusive marriages, they have children but they don't have job? Advise them, please. What advice can you give to them? But they are tired.
I want to get the two scenarios now.
Okay.
The first one, you found yourself there
in an abusive marriage.
Okay, you
already have children. Let's say a rich marriage but abusive. Now you have children, but you are tired, but you don't have a personal business. You don't have what you are doing.
Okay.
So what advice can you help give to them?
Okay.
They are really tired of the marriage.
I think for that kind of person, it's double jeopardy. We call it catch-22 situation. Yes, a catch-22 is koshe safu, koshe paraseyin. Do you get? Now, it's important in this age that both parties in a marriage must be functioning and bringing something to the table. So there should never be a woman that will say, I don't have anything. It's a different thing when you say, I don't have enough. But you don't say, I don't have anything. Now, you must speak out. You must speak out. There must be someone your husband respects. Don't keep it to yourself. You need to talk to whosoever, particularly from the side of the husband. It's a different thing when you are reporting him. I'm not saying reporting him now. I'm talking about seeking help. Right? So you can, if you are reporting him to all your family members, you are not helping matters. But then, when you study his countenance, like doctor said, Oga Oshamini Igbadila no, what did I do? If there can be dialogue, fine. But it's important both people should seek help. And so that kind of person, every woman should start something. There are businesses you can do. There are online businesses. There are a lot of them. Research and start something. You can. Yes, your husband money is there, but you should have your own thing. I support my wife. See, when you see me, she's a chef. I follow her to do all of these things. Support her goals. If you are unfortunate and you find yourself in a place where you don't get that kind of support, you need to be strong for yourself. Understand that you've come to this life for yourself, on your own first. She will only vision any. Oh, ni goal here. People will tell you, especially our elderly mothers, that I'm praying for my husband. Oga, your husband's life is different from your life. Have something doing, then seek help. Then one more thing, for every man that you see, you have that tendency. If you see anybody that is beating the wife and is happy and shouting about it, go and find out. That one has advanced problem. But for someone, a man that you are not like that, you know you are not like that, but because of economic situation, frustration, right, and tensed moments, uncertainty, it happens. Number one, apologize to your wife. Number two, when you find yourself in that kind of situation, walk out of the house. Everybody gets to that point. I'm telling you, everybody, by God's grace, I'm not proud. 11 years, I've not raised my hand. My dad, over 45 years, I've not seen him raise his hand. Maybe that is why. But for people that find themselves in that, see, anybody can be pushed there. I know what I'm saying. Anything can trigger this case now. Cause red flag, but there is tension. You will feel it almost physically in that situation.
Studios graphics for gift sponsor me, and my birthday is coming September 3. September 3 is my birthday. Thank you so much for coming. I celebrate you, sir. I celebrate you. God bless you. And to my fans, God bless you. Abiding Studio, you are the best. Thank you so much. See you next month. Bye.
Bye.